had me kind of jumping up and down and squealing joy. But I haven't heard anything about it for over a year, so I'm assuming it's still just sort of sitting around gathering dust.
Yeah, but sometimes the stuff that has been done, like Final Fantasy,
Right.
the first movie was sort of like this intellectual venture, which
I saw that in the
doesn't
theater, and I
really-
was really enjoying it.
Yeah.
I said, this is really something different. They should try this more often. And just Tank City.
yeah, it did. But people want animation to be cutesy or want it to be, I don't know, maybe it needs more violence, maybe, and then it's too violent. I mean, I
Right.
thought Animatrix was a great thing, you know, that was,
Yes.
you know, and I think Peter Chung has done some fantastic animation for, you know, definitely more for an adult, a more adult audience, but it's a hard sell.
And
It's a real hard sell.
I think what's happening, though, is that we're getting both new generations of audiences who are more primed for this sort of thing, and a new generation of producers and marketing people who grew up with it also
Yeah.
and have a better idea of how to get it out. I think having all of those come together is pretty crucial.
Yeah, I think so. I think if you had somebody like James Cameron, who's, you know, apparently the technology that's coming out with Avatar is just supposed to be mind-blowing, and since it's mostly CG, it's basically one step away from animation and, you know, traditional animation. The only difference is they have a couple real actors in there. Get rid of the real actors and you've got, put in voices and make the whole thing CG. I think, you know, Cameron could do something amazing, and he could get the money, obviously.
He was talking about Battle Angel Alita, and as far as I know, that's still something that he wants to do. He just wanted to get Avatar nailed down first, and you know, have that as a dry run for this type of technology.
Yeah.
That would be wonderful.
Now the road to like voice acting and directing and all these twists and turns you talk about with production is, near as I can tell, not exactly a straight or direct one in most people's path. Have you ever had any of those sorts of projects, like, you know, having to stand in a, you know, a hot dog suit handing out flyers, or having to do jingles for Piggly Wiggly or something? And it's like, or, you know, have you had any of those sort of early projects like, wow, that was a paycheck?
Of course, you know, I waited tables, I did all the, you know, worked in a...
Well, I'm talking about sort of those artistic moments that you're like, really? Do you have sort of any of those sorts of, you know, stories?
Yeah, I did a show as a guest star on a show called Silk Stockings.
I remember this.
Yeah, and I got down there and they said, and it was my birthday, and they said, I go to the fitting, costume fitting. She said, okay, so for your nude scene, and I said, what? That wasn't in any scripts that I read. She said, oh yeah, we revised it. And I said, then we need to call my agent because we don't do nude scenes. No. And they sort of said, well, we'll do it all from behind and you wear a bikini bottom. But even then, I just thought, wow, this is a paycheck. This is bad. This is not something I'm proud of. I didn't tell anybody it was on, and I was really embarrassed. I mean, not for the work or for the show, it's just not...
Right.
It's not
The bait and
me.
switch of it also, if you knew going in, it would have been a little easier.
To say no.
Yeah.
To just say that's not something
Exactly.
I want to do. I thought I was playing the villain, which would be nice, but I don't want to.
not
That's not me. It's not something I'm comfortable with. You know.
It's not the sort of acting you want to do.
No. It's just not me. I don't feel comfortable. And if I don't feel comfortable, I'm not going to do a good job. You know. So.
I have to actually say something that, I don't know, somebody reminded me of this, but in terms of Ghost of the Shell, I don't know if you know your fan base, they actually wanted you to play Motoko. There was a live action proposal for a movie, and on the forums a lot of people, because they like your voice so much, they really wanted you to actually be Motoko in the live action version.
Wow. I would have to go to the gym.
That's under Steven Spielberg.
Richard himself was like, I want to be Bateau. Bad.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Because he
know.
even looks like the guy.
Yeah, he does.
And I pointed this out when I was talking to him, and he said, we're on the same wavelength here. I just need to know who to convince to do it. And the whole thing is, again, it's currently up in the air.
Yeah.
Nobody's really sure what's happening with it.
Well, personally, I think Angelina Jolie would be absolutely perfect because she's got this cold, hard, she can portray this sort of cold, hard detachment kind of, I think she's a phenomenal actress. I think she's got the deep voice. She could definitely, you know, I think she'd do a great job. Because it's not me, it's a voice, you know what I'm saying? It's not like, Angelina should play me. It's not that at all. It's just like, in terms of the character and the styling of the character, the whole thing, it's, you know, that's her.
It's funny how they're not willing to part with you. They
Oh,
don't want you to do it all.
that's nice! No, I don't do on
We see
camera
somebody in
anymore.
the same
Not a
role,
chance.
whatever the nature of the role, you know, they identify one with the other completely. And
Mhm.
that's, look what happened with Star Trek. They announced that Chris Pine was going to be Captain Kirk. People were sort of, hedging their bets and shifting, and I don't know about this. And then they go see it, and they go, okay, I bought it.
Yeah. Yeah, even though he didn't do Shatner until the end. One
Right.
bones! That was it. Just
Yeah,
that one
exactly.
moment. You're like, ah, fantastic. Wow, that's nice. I had no idea. I didn't even know they were getting ready to do the.
They want to.
They want to,
and
yeah.
it's all in the stage right now where they're just speculating like crazy. They don't even know where the money's going to come from. Like Steven Spielberg is interested in doing it.
Yeah.
That's still not a guarantee of anything.
Mm-mm. No.
Cowboy Bebop's next, though.
Bebop is next. Yeah.
What do you think about the way that's coming along? From what you've
Animated to live action.
I think on the record, I hope they do a great job.
Yeah, we're all kind of hoping for the same. It's more the question of, well, we know what Keanu Reeves is and is not capable of, so our fingers are all crossed under the table.
And I'm a Keanu Reeves fan. I
Mm.
really love him. I have to say, I think that the stuff he did in Parenthood was genius. He was really an amazing actor in that movie. If you go back and see it, he has this moment in the kitchen of, he was talking to Diane Wiest of pure clarity. And then he's like, shakes it off. He's like, wow. Anyway, I mean, he does a really amazing work in that. And of course, Neo. And I just don't, I hope that it goes well. I just have to put positive things out there and hope that it goes well.
Maybe it'll be like comic book movies. We used to get things that were the equivalent of the Speed Racer movie, and then we finally got a decent Batman, and then we're going to do a decent Spider-Man, and
Now we're going to
building
get a
up,
decent anime production.
Well, we
adaptation.
hope sooner or later.
After Dragon Ball, everyone has really lost a lot of confidence in the
The
adaptation.
thing
A
is,
blow
is
to the
that-
head would be
It's gonna be how
better.
much, it's gonna be how much influence coming from our side to put into Hollywood to make sure they get things right. I mean,
Right.
look
It-
at
and
the Ava trailer, movie. The fans complained enough for ADV to change names back to original Japanese.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but the fans have power. I mean, when we did the Bebop movie, they were like, we want the same cast. We want the same voice cast as the series. And, we did it with Sony, and Sony could have gotten
Anybody.
Alec Baldwin, blah, 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 which would have been fun, but not.
Not the same thing.
Yeah.
They're starting to
And
look
I
like
just,
slaves.
Spike is a certain age, and unless they reinterpret it, I think they have a very large challenge ahead of them, because Spike is 23, 27?
Ish.
Ish, somewhere in the middle, and they're going to need to reinterpret it.
Yeah.
I mean, they're going to have to reinterpret it. Otherwise, it's going to be interesting.
Whatever they have, if it stands on its own, we can look at it and go, yeah, that was a good interpretation. That was
Yeah.
a good adaptation. Instead
Yeah.
of just wincing and cringing every time something comes on the screen. Like that other adaptation that we won't mention in public again.
I'm curious how they're going to handle his hair.
Wigs
Yeah.
are great things.
CG.
I don't know.
CG's gonna work.
That's a bit much.
I'd love to see, a full, show me the swordfish. I want to see it. I'd love to see the Bebop. I'd love to see it fully rendered. That would be amazing.
I'd love
but
to see who they get to play Radical Edward.
I don't know.
This is always so
Wow.
tricky because these things, they have a life of their own when they're animated, and then you try to pull them out into the real world, and all the things that were so special just sort of get left behind.
Yeah,
It's-
I think Eon Flux is a good example of that.
Yeah.
It's-
that
As
didn't
much
really
as I
work.
adore Charlize Theron, it just
She'd be
didn't.
another good choice for the major, actually.
She would, but it's hard to do something that's so stylized, and Bebop is really stylized.
Mhm.
So, Watanabe was really looking, there's a number of episodes that were just love letters about the film industry, and so I don't know.
The beta cassette.
Yeah.
The episode where they went and found that.
The last surviving video
Mhm.
recorder.
Yeah, or the one that was like the thing in the fridge that was like directing, it was 2001 and Alien
And
all
all mixed together.
all mixed
He
together.
has to
It
go
was
back
just
in for his cigarette lighter. Oh my god.
It's just beautiful, this thing. Yeah. So I don't know, it'll be interesting. Mushroom Samba, I mean,
Yeah.
it's,
Oh,